Welcome, writers, readers, and friends to the Authors Talking Bookish podcast. I'm Donna Norman Carbone, author of All That Is Sacred.
And I'm Hope Gibbs, author of Where the Grass Grows Blue.
We're two debut writers traditionally published by a small publishing house, bringing to you all the experiences that we as authors learn the hard way, so you don't have to.
We'll give you insights from the inception of a book idea to publication and beyond. And along the way, we'll share our love of books from the writer's perspective.
Hi, folks. Welcome back. This is episode 60, and today we're talking about what if midlife isn't a crisis, but a powerful second coming of age. And we're interviewing two midlife fiction authors, Elissa Bass and Christina Consolino. I am Donna Carbone, and I am joined by Hope Gibbs. Hi, Hope.
Hey, Donna, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. Spring is here, and it's the month of May. And what better? This is like my favorite time of the year. What about you?
I know, it's beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous here today.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Love just going out, and I've been listening to audiobooks as I'm walking now, and I'm starting to enjoy that.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I am so excited about this episode because this is a genre that is gaining a lot of traction and something that I personally can relate to.
Same. As I was reading these books, I was finding myself relating to them more and more.
So, well, let's just go on and get these authors on. Hello, Elissa, and hello, Christina. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. It's great to be here.
We're so happy to have you here. We're excited to talk about this topic too. Seems very timely for women in our age group.
Very much so. And also, even women younger, or even women that are a little bit past this.
Approaching it,
very much so. So why don't we do a quick intro for each one of our authors? And Donna, why don't you start?
Sure. I'm going to start with Christina Consolino, a graduate of the University of Michigan with a doctorate in physiology. Christina Consolino taught college-level anatomy and physiology for 15 years before concentrating on her passion of writing and editing. She is the author of 3 works of contemporary fiction: Rewrite the Stars, The Weight We Carry, and The Marriage Debt. She is the co-author of Historic Photos of University of Michigan. Christina is a former senior editor at an online journal, Literary Mama. She writes romance under the pen name of Keely Stevens, teaches one-on-one for her local school district, and coaches clients on how to deal with life's messes, find their authentic selves, and live their best lives. She lives in Ohio with her husband, 4 children, and a rotating cast of pets. I can relate to that.
And Christina, congrats on the Michigan National Championship.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I mean, clearly I didn't have anything to do with it, but it was very nice to see that.
Yes, my daughter goes to the University of Tennessee, and you guys handedly beat them in the I guess the round of 8. So congratulations.
Thanks.
Okay, well, I'm going to introduce you to Elissa Bass. Was born into a family of journalists and writers, which made dinner time interesting. After a long and award-winning career in journalism, she started her own communications business. These days, she freelance, works on her next novel, teaches journalism at the University of Connecticut, and thinks about ice cream. She lives in southeastern Connecticut with her journalist husband and texts memes to her 2 adult children every day. And congratulations to UConn. You guys, your ladies made it to the Final Four. Yes, I guess I am a basketball nut a little bit here. So.
Yeah, you are. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
The boys made it almost as far, right?
It was, I taught on Tuesday, the day after the men lost. And I didn't have a lot of kids in my class that day. And the ones that were there were very sad. So it was less teaching and more just, it's okay.
Consoling.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family is they're big UConn fans as well. And my son just moved into a new house and bought some furniture at Jordan Furniture. And Jordan Furniture had a sale going that if they got to the finals, all your furniture would be free. So my son was not happy.
I like that. Okay, well, let's get started with this. So, midlife fiction is often described as a second coming of age genre. How do each of you define it, and what drew you to write in this genre?
You can go first.
Elissa, why don't you go first?
Okay. So my two novels are romances, and I'm a big romance reader. I started reading romance during COVID, and what I found was I love the genre and I love a lot of the stories, and there's some great books out there. But the whole sort of ingenue 25-year-old female heroine character wasn't doing it for me. And so when I decided to try my hand at writing romance, I wanted a female main character that I could very personally relate to. So I made her 55, menopausal, and dead inside. And then I went from there. And I have to say, women adore this book, my first book, Happy Hour, which came out in 2024. They really, it speaks to a lot of women.
Yeah, it also got a great review from Kirkus Review, sizzling, sharp, and hilarious. And it was also the runner-up in the 2025 New York Book Festival contest.
Yeah.
So congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
What about you, Christina?
Well, it's something I've thought about, that the question is something I've thought about. And I think the best answer is that a lot of the lessons that I've learned, or the ones that really stick with me, have been since I turned 40, which has been a while now. I'll just say that. And I feel like I'm in a better place. A lot of women say this, they're in a better place, but I wanted to make sure that some of the lessons I learned, or my ability to have a say in things and have the courage to speak up, was available to other people. Because as a kid, I would learn a lot from reading books. And even now, I still learn. That's why I love to read, right? I'm learning, well, that person did that, or, that character just did something I've been wanting to do forever. So I really wanted to have my characters, and in all three of my novels, my contemporary fiction, but especially The Marriage Debt, I feel like the main characters find their voices, and I feel like that kind of mimics what's happened in my life. So
yeah,
you got a lot of great reviews for that one. Your writing makes this book a must read for anyone who values novels that explore the intricacies of daily life and the resilience of the human spirit.
It was a fun book to write. I loved it. I think it's my favorite. I know we're not supposed to have favorites, right? But I enjoyed writing it from beginning to end. So,
yeah.
Why do you think this genre is gaining momentum now?
Oh,
any thoughts?
Well, I think, so it's so interesting to me because when my mother and her generation went through menopause, they never spoke of it, right? I very distinctly remember sitting in the family room at night with my father and my mother and my brother, and we were watching television, and my mother would just start sweating. And my father would say, "Open the windows." And like, what's wrong with mom? Right? Like nobody talked about it. And I feel that with, again, social media as always, but also that our generation and then the generations that are coming after us, we want to talk about it. We want to recognize and acknowledge what is happening inside us. And I have to say, just to kind of speak to what Christina said in the beginning, when I was in my 40s, I felt like I had everything under control. I felt like I knew exactly what I was doing. Everything was great. I turned 50 and everything blew up inside and outside, right? And so I had this sense of loss of control that I wanted to figure out how to get back. And I think that we sort of hit those themes in these books. And I think it's something that lots of women can really relate to. And I think the men that belong to those women can relate to it as well, right? So
yeah, I agree. And I think that's a great answer. And one of the things I think for me personally is that I always want to do better for my kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember too things that happened to my mom, but nobody talked about it. And so I want to model something different. And not everybody has children, and that's fine. But in my case, I want to model something different for my kids so that then they can, do whatever they need to do for if they choose to have children. And so I'm like, I'm just upfront with everything, regardless of what's happening. I'm upfront with my kids. I'm upfront with my blog posts. I just try to get it out there as much as I can because it is, social media has changed a lot and it is out there, but I think we're not alone. And I think it's really important for us to remember we're not alone. So, and there are so many things with menopause that I had no idea. And I have a degree in physiology and I still didn't have an idea. I was like, oh my gosh, so.
Yeah, I think that idea of not feeling so alone and sharing common experiences is so helpful at any stage. But I agree, more so than any, I think this stage.
Yeah. So you both write about love during this time of your life, both of your protagonists. How has love affected the changes that these women are experiencing? Because they're going through, I'm going through it. I'll be completely honest. I'm going through menopause currently. Your body changes. So, but both of your characters are going through a romantic moment. How did you work that in?
I want Christina to go first on this.
So so in the marriage jet, it's a little bit, I don't want to say different. It does deal with some romantic moments, but it's with Nika's husband. So yes. Charity is married, but it is her second husband. And she does, not to put a spoiler out there, but there is sex therapy in the book for those of you who have not yet read it. And I kind of wanted to think this book more so than anything else. I did a lot of listening before I sat down to write it. And I was listening to what women were saying. And I had more than a handful of women and some men actually say that they just, it was a tanked libido and they could not, they didn't quite know what to do with it. And I looked around then at a good handful of, especially my female friends versus my male friends, who were approaching menopause or in menopause, and they had chosen wisely with their partners, some female, some male partners. And the partners were just accepting of who they were. There were speed bumps, absolutely. And there are in the book, but there was an open communication. And so I thought, okay, that's kind of what I would like to show in this book. And again, it's not always how one person communicates might not be exactly the way someone needs to hear something, or what I say might not be what that person hears, that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, they both loved one another and they wanted to come back to that love. It was just kind of like, we have those crests and troughs, and she talks about the sine cosine curve and in math. And so I wanted to make sure that I wanted her to be relatable and authentic to what I was kind of hearing when I was kind of observing.
Yeah. Elissa, how would you answer that question?
So in Happy Hour, the female protagonist is ruined by menopause, had a lousy marriage, literally came to hate sex. And had zero desire for any of it. And then she meets the hot surfer bartender who's 21 years younger than she is. And suddenly she's interested again, but she's terrified, right? Because first of all, she feels bad about herself. She hates the way she looks. She hates the way she feels. And she's worried that it's going to be terrible. And then he's not going to want to be with her. So she has all of this sort of inner turmoil, physically and emotionally. And I kind of love the way that she sort of comes to realize, oh, wait, everything still does work. In the second book, in Please Wait to Cross, these two characters who are in their late 50s and have reached the pinnacles of their careers. One is a CFO of a Fortune 500 company, and the other one is the police chief of the town where he grew up. They are on the outside beyond successful. On the inside, they are a dust bowl, and they have basically sacrificed their quality of life, the emotional quality of life, for their professional success. So when they find each other, and they realize, oh, wait, I like this person and I'm also physically attracted to this person. They keep having these sort of sporadic, explosive moments with each other, and then they both run away. And so I enjoyed that part too, where they both they'd have this great sex and then they would flip out and be like, nope, I got to shut down. I can't do this. I'm feeling things. My heart is beating. I'm not sure what's happening. So it's sort of two different approaches to midlife love, I think, in the two different books, but I feel like pretty universal either way.
How important is humor? Because you both have that in your books. And how important is humor during, like, just as like to get through a crisis like this?
I think it's very important. I mean, I can't quantify it. I want to quantify it, but I can't quantify it. But for me, there's that old expression, either laugh or cry. And that's and in this day and age right now with what's happening in the world, that's all I'll say. There's a lot of times it's either laugh or I'm going to end up crying. So for me, that's, and the things that I went through with my mom and her Alzheimer's and my dad has dementia, there's just stress. I'd rather be laughing than focusing on the negative. Having said that, I'm not a humor writer. However, there's a lot of laughter that happens in my house. So like in order to write some humor, into my books, I had to, again, kind of just observe or think, okay, well, how would we have said that? Because it's not natural for me to do that. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's so important. And I think it's so important in any relationship that you have. I have been with my husband for 40 years and he still 5 out of 7 days a week makes me laugh. Right. And I feel like that is just, and it comes naturally to me. My father was literally the funniest guy in the room. And so I grew up in a house where it was just really funny all the time. And so I feel like that just comes naturally into my writing as I'm writing it. And it just feels organic to me.
I might have to borrow you then sometime.
Well, congratulations on 40 years. That is an achievement. So
thank you. I met him when I was 6. So
wow. Well, you beat me and my husband. Usually we are we hold the longevity award in our friendships. We got together when we were 16.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think Elissa wins this one. 6 years old.
Yeah.
We met at our first job out of college and then sort of followed each other around New England until we settled down.
Well, I want to switch gears a little bit about your writing life. I want to ask each one of you, and I'll start with Christina. What does your writing life look like?
So, it always looked like getting up at, before the crack of dawn, writing at 5 or 5:30, and getting some words in and then trying to just squeeze in words wherever throughout the day. Lately, my youngest is going to college next year. It's this last kind of rush beforehand. She's doing great, but there's just stuff, I'll say, for lack of, stuff. So I've pulled back a little bit there, but even sometimes I'll just, I'll take that cup of coffee in the morning. And even if all I do is send myself an email with some ideas or, pull up a document and just a couple of sentences. But I do still hold to dedicated writing time with either putting a slot, in my calendar from, maybe once a week or twice a month, depending. I do have a small group that we try to get together for half days and sometimes even weekend retreats. So, and when I put it on the calendar, the family knows that's it. Like, this is mom's time and she's not allowed. I hate to use that word. They respect my time.
Yeah,
so,
right.
But usually it's early morning. That's when my brain is the most awake and ready to write.
What about you, Elissa?
So I am not that at all, which is actually so interesting to me because I was a journalist for 30 years, right? And so I wrote on deadline every single day and was so structured and so organized. And as a fiction writer, I am absolute chaos. I am a complete mess. There's zero rhyme or reason to it. I wrote actually a lot of happy hour on my phone because I things would pop into my head. And so I had the Google Doc. So I would just open up the Google Doc and I'd go like, whoa. I literally wrote the prologue of Happy Hour on the sidewalk in the town where I live at 6 o'clock in the morning when I was out on my walk, and it popped into my head. And I thought, if I don't write this down right now, I'm not going to remember it. And so I stood there for 20 minutes writing the prologue on my phone.
Got to do what you got to do.
Right. Exactly. I'm a mess which is so interesting to me because it's the polar opposite of how I lived my entire writing career. But maybe
that's why.
Yeah. I was going to say, it sounds like the synergy of your right brain and your left brain.
Yeah.
Right. Coming together. Yeah. I like that.
So here at our podcast, the reason Donna and I started this was when we were debut novelists, we had no idea what was coming our way. And so we did a lot of things the hard way. And so our tagline is all the things that we did the hard way so you don't have to. Elissa, what is one thing through either writing a book or publishing a book or promoting a book that you learned the hard way?
So I love this question. I did not understand when I wrote the book and as a self-published author that I was literally giving myself a whole nother full-time job. I absolutely never occurred to me, had no idea. I thought, I'm going to write this and then it's going to live as a book. And the rest of it was like this black hole that I had no idea what went into it. And it really is a black hole because it sucks you in. And you are the CEO and the CFO and the director of marketing and the director of sales, and you are the warehouse person. My living room is not a living room anymore. It's a book warehouse. And, I didn't see that coming. So I would say that I didn't think all the way. I didn't think to the end. I thought to literally not even through the whole beginning. I love selling the book. I love marketing the book. I love doing all of these things. It's been a blast, but I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. And with my first book, I spent way too much money on marketing and making things that it turned out I didn't need, and buying ads it turned out didn't help. So I spent way too much money and I didn't realize how much work it was going to be.
Wow. Good advice on that one. What about you, Christina?
So I think while I was listening, I'm also trying to think of I want to say trust my gut, but I have to give a little bit more background for that because, at least for a long time, I thought, we need to query and I have to go the literary agent route, there's only one way to publish, but I think, so maybe that's the lesson. There's not just one way to publish. And I think you do have to look at what you want and your goals and, what is your end goal and then trust yourself to say, okay, this is what I'm looking for, but also be willing to pivot or change or whatever, if that way is not working for you anymore. Because not everybody, I know people who've gone from self-publishing to traditional publishing. I've known people who've gone from traditional to self. I've, small to big publishing, whatever. But I think trusting my gut and recognizing that there's not just one right answer out there is something I think is useful for people to know.
Wow, that's great advice. We are going to start with our rapid fire questions.
Yes, we're going to do rapid fire questions. I promise these are going to be easy, just so people get to know you a little bit more as a person. So Donna, why don't you start us out? And it's simple. We'll just go back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah. So Elissa, what is your favorite social media platform?
Oh, TikTok.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Christina, are you an introvert or are you an extrovert?
Extreme introvert.
Okay.
Extreme, huh?
Yes. This will really do me in later. I'll be on the couch. So
well, maybe you should do this next question that I have for Elissa. Wine or a cocktail or something else?
Oh, wait, is that mine?
That's yours, yeah.
So everything. They are all my children.
Oh, okay.
It totally depends on the mood I'm in, what day it is, what time it is, who I'm with. I love a great cocktail. Moscow Mule is my favorite cocktail.
Oh, love those.
But I also love wine, and there are days where beer is perfect. So,
okay.
I like that. Okay, Christina, do you prefer a sea breeze or do you like a warm fire?
Warm fire.
It's a nice one.
Elissa, who or what inspired you to write?
oh my gosh, both my parents are writers. They were both journalists, and they were both my mother. I should not use past tense with my mom. She's still with us. Fiction writers. My father published, I believe, 14 novels in his career. And so I just grew up around words. And I would say that my parents have always been my biggest inspiration when it comes to the creative and journalistic outlet.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice. Okay, Christina, what is your favorite novel?
Oh my gosh, the Bridge to Terabithia, actually.
Oh, wow.
I love that.
Elissa, are you a morning person or a night person?
I'm a morning person.
Okay.
I crash early. I crash really early.
Yeah.
I'm an early bird. I wake up at 5, but by 9 o'clock, I'm in bed.
Yeah.
Okay, so Christina, do you listen to music or do you need it to be completely quiet while you write?
Oh, it depends on what I'm writing, actually. It depends on what I'm writing. Many times romance, I'll have some sort of music with, I know this sounds odd, really lovely lyrics. I don't know. But yeah, otherwise, lots of times I just want silence if it's just contemporary fiction.
Donna, your last one for Elissa?
My last one for Elissa is, what is your favorite hobby outside of writing?
I don't really have hobbies.
You're so busy.
Actually, you know what here's what I'm told. This is brand spanking new to me, but book bedazzling. I have gotten into book bedazzling, and I have actually had book bedazzling parties at my house, and I have brought it to book clubs that I have visited, and we have all bedazzled together, and it is ridiculously fun. Oh, I wish I had them here with me. So
I wish you had one too.
I'm sorry, I have them in my other bag, but I bedazzled both Happy Hour and Please Wait to Cross.
Post it on social media.
Send us that picture.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll put it on. Yeah. Okay, last one, Christina. What is your happy place?
Oh, easy. It was in, it's called Walloon Lake, and it was featured in Rewrite the Stars, my first novel. I like to go there. And
nice. Yeah. Well, ladies, this has been wonderful. Before we leave, though, I want to also show the Please Wait to Cross, because Elissa, you got another great Kirkus review, and also the other one, The Weight We Carry. Again, you got a beautiful book blurb from this author, Elizabeth Summer Waffler. And so I know our viewers are going to want to follow you and look for you. Where is the best place to find you, Elissa, on social media?
So for author content, I have a Facebook page, Elissa Bass Author. That's really if you want my book stuff. If you're interested in politics, come find me on TikTok. But if you want book stuff, come find me on Facebook.
Awesome. And what about you, Christina?
Either Facebook or Instagram. I mean, I'm taking a slight pause at the moment, but both Facebook and Instagram, my author pages there they're connected, so it makes it easy. You'll see the same thing.
And as always, everyone, you guys can find us on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, and on Instagram, and also on our website at authorstalkingbookish.com. And before we go, Donna, what is our next episode?
Our next episode, we are interviewing a guest for the second time. The first guest that we're interviewing the second time. Her name is Grace Salmon, and she has a new novel coming out called The Reliable Narrator. Well, we're so excited about that. But Christina and Elissa, this has been such an interesting discussion. And I am so excited to, that this genre is really kind of taking off. And it's something that, is near and dear to my heart right now. So we are so appreciative of your time. And thank you so much for joining us.
Oh,
yes, thank you for spending time with us. This was a great chat.
Thank you very much.
It was awesome. Thank you.
And thank you, everyone. And until next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Hope Gibbs.
And I'm Donna Norman Carbone. It's time for you to get to work.
We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks with another tip from your author friends.